Good morning, everybody. I'm on my own so far. Oh, well, there's Dave. It's fashionably late again, I think.
Catching the sunrise this morning, or the early morning light just before the sunrise, which was very important.
Really, you can see sun. All I can see is cloud and lots of rain, David.
Well, you know.
Next week, apparently, I've been told. So, always good news. How are you?
Tired.
Okay.
But there you go. Hang on, see if we can say that. That's what we had this morning.
Okay. Yeah, we had some of that yesterday, but nothing today, unfortunately. Let me just check that we're good. And Celia's here. Celia was sick last week.
Hello.
Hi, Celia.
Hello.
Hi.
How's it going?
Yeah, good, thank you.
You were quite ill last week, weren't you?
Oh, yes. I managed to, for the first night in a hotel, decide to not get on with the salmon.
Okay. Nice.
It wasn't good, but I'm back in full force.
Back like Slim Shady.
And
so you're back like Slim Shady.
Really? Is he back? Yeah, there's really good.
I don't believe for a moment I threw you then, Justin. That's quite impressive. I just caught you then.
Yeah, well done.
I'm busy. I'm working here. We're trying to organize all this, just making sure it's all working. And
where are we streaming live to today?
Everywhere. Facebook, 2 platforms: LinkedIn, YouTube, Periscope, Twitch, and Instagram. Hello on Instagram. Maybe might change this. Might make it look a bit better, would it? That looks a bit better. Always on top. We can change that around. So painless practice, chapter 7.
Last one.
The last chapter. It's hard to believe that we're through this in 6 weeks, not 7 like the chapters, because of course there was a double one that I didn't know about. Planning. What do they say? Perfect planning prevents piss poor performance. What's that? The 7 Ps?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I think by the time you get to this chapter, you should have done most of the work already, because we've taken you through all the exercises throughout the whole journey. So really, at the end of this chapter, you've got your plan. And I think, I mean, we wrote the book ages ago. Can't remember how many years ago. 7 years ago, maybe 8. And so what we've, obviously things evolve, and our next step now with clients, once they might have gone through the whole book, but we actually now help them really distill their whole plan onto one page for the next year. So we have we do a 3-year plan on one page, where we just look at all the different areas and we kind of summarize where they want to get to at each of the points. And then we take one page and we summarize what their purpose is, what their values are, what their vision is, what their 4 objectives for the next 12 months are, and what their key results will be to indicate that those objectives have been achieved, and then what the key activities are that they need to go and take straight away. And then we update those activities every time we have a coaching call. So, once we've gone through this whole exercise, we summarize it into 2 pages, and that gives them laser focus.
Well, how long does it? How long does it normally take to people to? I was never very good at planning, and how long does it take people to get their head around that sort of 1, 3, 5 year sort of? Yeah, because you can have the plan. It doesn't have to be set in stone. I mean, it's not down from the mountain on tablets. You can change it. It evolves and develops as you go along. But do you not think a lot of people? Just a couple of people I've been speaking to over the last week, especially on Monday, was sort of, she's working for somebody else. She wants to set up on her own. It's not too sure. Well, where do you want to be next year? Do you want to still be working like this, or I'm not too sure. So again, of course, that just takes a little bit of thinking about when you actually have to write it down rather than just winging it.
Yeah, and I also think so how long does it take? Well, it's how long is a piece of string, because some people are very, very clear about what they want and they go for it. And other people just haven't got, we're going to find it's a ruler.
This might help to work out how long the piece of string is.
Yeah, maybe. And other people don't have a clue what they want in the future, or they don't give themselves permission to dream and to actually go for what they want in the future. They have all this kind of negative belief that, I'd really like to have this clinic, but it's not possible.
Well, this is why we're working with people on my new the what the F is all this biomechanics about, and how to become the go-to podiatrist in your area. People have the experience, the skills, the competence, but they just don't have the confidence to implement that, to take that treatment plan and action that with the patient. They don't know how to implement things. So that's what we're going to be working on my new course, which is running. And also on the same website, you can buy one of my limited edition mugs. Thankfully, Dave James did that's when I had hair. So those are on the go-to podiatrist site at the moment, limited edition.
What's my percentage on that again? Sorry, I don't recall the percentage for editing on that one.
That image may be trademarked. Is it? Are we allowed to use that?
You can use it.
I mean, people they've been to college, they've done the masters, they've got all the experience, they've been on all these courses, all the CPD courses over the last 6 months on diabetes and back stuff and rehabilitation and business. You don't know how to implement it. They need handheld, because as you say, maybe what did you say? It's the vision, Celia, is it?
But I think there's also an element of sometimes they do know what they need to do, or we can work through with them about what they need to do, but then the implementation gets hard when they start getting busy clinically. So 1 week drifts into another week, into a month, into a quarter, into a year. And I think that's where our kind of businesses really support people in, we're keeping them accountable as well. So we're helping them. We're helping them kind of connect with their vision. We're helping them feel confident that they can achieve that. But then a very big part of it is that we making sure that they do it. We're keeping them accountable, and so we might set actions in one coaching session, and we might get to another, and they haven't done it. Now, either we've got to kind of look and say, what's got in the way? Oh well, I just didn't make the time. Okay, well, bloody make the time. Or I really wasn't feeling confident, and I was uneasy about it. Then we've got to get them over those obstacles, and we've got to work out what that blockage is for them. So there's sometimes there's a bit of kind of just a bit of come on, get on with it. But then there's another part of it of saying, actually, what is it that you're struggling with? Do we need to look at a different way of climbing over this wall in front of you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky enough to be working with somebody who's quite a vision. She wants to be the kids' heel pain specialist in her area in Australia. That's her vision. So that's what we're working towards. The call on Monday with the person, they're not too sure what they want to do. Again, they haven't worked that stages out as yet. So yeah,
there's a few things in this though. There's a few things in this, and the vision massively important. We talked about that weeks ago. That's really important. But there is a grounding element, and it's a very fine balance, and you have to know the clients you're working with, because some people you give them a vision and they just go, right, I've got it, and they're gone. Other people you give a vision to and it overwhelms them. And it's having that element of reality and being able to break down what are the tasks, what are the projects I need to do, what are the tasks I need to do in that. And when you actually lay it out in that finite detail, there's an element of reality which comes along, and that can help with that bit of implementation. Because one project, you go, oh, that's easy, I can do that. And when you break it down into those fine tasks, you realize just how much work there is. And there's a good grounding element there, but some people work well with that, some people don't, and it's finding that balance, and sometimes that can be very difficult.
And I think that breaking down is absolutely key. I was speaking to a client yesterday, and she's been wanting to put this course on for years, and just kind of it just never happens because it is too big. So we just spoke about, okay, do an hour a week where you're doing. You're looking at, so she's got a kind of basis course, but now she needs to flesh it out. So, right, well, we've got the framework. Now, one week, 1 hour a week, just, choose 7 o'clock in the morning on a Monday, or 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday, or 10 o'clock on a Sunday. I don't care what time, just choose a static time that is absolutely guarded just to move that along. Because if you do an hour a week, you'll have done 4 or 5 hours in a month, and then suddenly you've done a lot in 3 months and 6 months and a year. But it's that kind of planning your diary as well, which to me, I mean, you know, we don't kind of go into planning your diary in here, but
I think it's a lot of practices. Speaking to people, I'm sure Dave you have the same experience. They forget they're in a business. You know, they're just providing to think. Again, we talked about how we probably all ran businesses really badly. You used to run business badly, Dave? I did. We didn't have.
Still do now, but let's not go into that. So,
didn't have a vision, didn't have a plan, and yeah, as you say, Celia, really busy. Life just goes on. The next thing you know, God, it's October tomorrow. Where did that go?
Some people forget. Some people forget they're in a business, but I think there's a lot of people out there who choose not to think of themselves as a business, and I think there's a very different distinction in that some people are so caught up in their day-to-day stuff that they forget what they're doing. Other people just go, actually, I don't want to play that game, and they almost deny it's there. Yeah. It's like the elephant in the room.
They think they're a podiatrist, a physiotherapist, a dentist. They don't realize that no, they're not. When they open the door and they stick their sign up, you're a business. You just happen to be providing that service. Now you've got to figure out all that business stuff to allow you to do that service. And there's that whole that goes along.
I always try and get my clients to think of their business as their most important patient, because often what will happen is they'll put time in the diary to work on their business, and then as soon as a patient needs to be seen, that's the spot that gets taken out. So I'm kind of saying, well, if you were, you know, if you had a real patient booked in, you wouldn't suddenly just say, oh, I'm going to take you out because I'm going to do my social media or whatever. Well, actually, we need to change. You know, we need to really consider our business as our most important patient, because if our business doesn't succeed, we won't be able to see as many patients. We won't be able to help as many people. So actually, you've got to book your business into your diary as your most important patient.
We're quite global today. We're in Greece and Algeria, and
looks like it now.
Yeah, we're going. Something's happening.
Justin, you can't ignore Victoria and not put hers up.
Sorry, I already replied separately to Victoria, but
I know, but you didn't put her up on the screen. Victoria's cool. She's got a great practice down in Oxford, which is nice. And I didn't realise, Victoria, that your clinic is actually on the Abingdon Road, which is just down the road from where I used to live. But there you go. That's a long time ago. Oh. Very random thing. Yeah.
Just down the road where I was last on Monday, wasn't it? Hotel. Yeah.
Name and shame them. What were you doing there, Dave? Was that in your NHS days, or you?
No, that was when I was an A&E nurse.
Okay.
that was back in the day. I mean, I lived in a house I lived in a flat on the Abingdon Road, and in fact, Victoria's clinic is just down the road from a pub that I drank in occasionally, and an undertaker's, which my girlfriend at the time used to work in. So
okay. Was it all pumping accidents and problems with booger?
So again, Justin, what was that? Sorry.
Was it all pumping accidents and cycle crashes?
No. What did we used to have? We had all kinds of things.
No interesting punting injuries in Oxford.
No, people would occasionally jump off the Magdalen Bridge and injure themselves, but that was because there's not a lot of water in there, and that's a bit silly. But most of it was fighting.
I've got a story about that with a friend. Hi, Simon in China, who's got a pin and plate in his ankle after he went over a bridge in Salisbury. Yes. The accident report said friends, in inverted commas, on the A&E report, threw him over a bridge. He was quite annoying. I was going to let go, and Charlie was supposed to hold on, but we got our communication mixed up, and over he went.
So could we say that exercise resulted with poor planning, Justin? Would that be?
Yeah, that was right after quite a long day at Leo Sayer in Salisbury. He's always quite annoying, and we headed off to the kebab shop. He ended up going to A&E with a broken ankle. We didn't check the water conditions. We didn't check the height of the bridge. We didn't check anything. We just threw him over. Well, I was supposed to Charlie was supposed to hold on, for God's sake. It's all Charlie's fault. Yeah,
it sounds like a business thing, doesn't it? That person was supposed to be doing that, and they were supposed to be doing that, and they didn't do that, and this happened, and it's not my fault. Not my fault.
There's a great thing to kind of do with that, because that often happens. You look out, when something goes wrong, you look out to see who you can blame, and when something goes right, oh wow, I'm a great clinic owner.
Well, he's always marathon, so he's
I don't think that happens so much in the clinic world, but I do think that there's a lot to be said for when something goes wrong, look in the mirror and what could you have done differently to prevent that from happening? So Justin could have actually had a better conversation with Charlie, or maybe had 3 or 4 less pints before chucking his friend over the bridge, but he could have definitely have done something to prevent that. And just like, when something goes wrong, so if a receptionist keeps on making the same mistake, well, look in the mirror and say, well, what could I have done differently? I could have trained them better, or maybe I brought the wrong person on board. Maybe my gut was saying that this person's not IT savvy enough, but I'm desperate, I'm going to put them in the position. So there's always something, I think, that as a business owner, you can look at and you can think, what could I have done differently to get a different outcome? And once you've exhausted all that, then it's time to look and say, do I need to change the system? Do I need to change the person?
And that should be part of the plan as well. So you've got the plan in place, and actually reviewing the plan and spending that time reviewing stuff should be part of the plan as well. And that again, that's as important as patience. As having a patient in clinic, it's what have I learned this week, good or bad? What have I learned today, good or bad? What can I implement? What can I change? What is working really well and I keep the same? Should be part of that whole process.
But as you said,
and that's where
it's accountability as well. I used to love one of my business coach, Paul Wright, he always seemed to land on the thing that I hadn't got my eye on. Checking. I always got worried. It was a Monday evening call with me, Tuesday morning for Paul early, and he was checking homework, accountability from what, again, he said, what have you decided? What was the plan that we're going to do? Has that been done? Has that been actually structured? And checking homework. And so if you can't do that yourself and be accountable to yourself, you need somebody like us to help check your homework. And again, as you say, encourage you and guide you along that track.
And that's kind of one of the reasons why we wrote this book, is because we wanted to make it simple. So we've kind of chunked it down, taken you through all the different chapters, and we've now finally got to the plan where you've already done all the work that forms a plan. And that's why we take the next step then to do that 3-year plan on a page and a 1-page plan on a page, because it's not overwhelming and it's simple. Because if you can go and find templates and end up with a 70-page plan, you can spend a whole year putting your plan in place. What are you going to do with that 70-page plan afterwards? You're going to chuck it in the drawer. You're never going to look at it again. Whereas we hope that once you've gone through the process of this, it's an easy thing to look through. And I suggest having, even if you're a sole practitioner, have a management meeting with yourself once a month and look at where you are with your plan. Do it once a month, do it once a quarter. If you're business partners together, absolutely plan those meetings. When I was in partnership with James, and when I go into partnership with someone else again, we will have monthly meetings. James and I used to put our meetings in our diary for the whole year, and those were 3 hours a month, and they were guarded, and we used to get together. We used to talk about where we are with our plan, what opportunities have we got, what have we struggled with, how are our associates doing, what are our numbers doing.
I think a lot of plans are looking in the rear view mirror, and again, as you say, review of let's review the accounts at the end of next week and that sort of stuff. And it's all looking. So when you go to your accountant at the end of the year, it's what happened a year ago. What we did in the last couple of years when we got somewhat busier, we looked ahead. We saw what was in the diary, and we projected what was ahead and whether we were meeting targets. And then on a Monday, then decided what we needed to do to reach those targets, rather than looking backwards. So that's a slightly different way.
Yeah, and that's what we do with the 1-page plan. Is with a 1-page plan, we have when we get together with our clients, we're looking at, okay, have you done the activities? What are the activities to go forward?
Apparently somebody wants to change the time of the next night. Someone in Algeria, we've all got to go to work too. I tried to get it earlier, but these guys don't want to get out of bed at 6:30 in the morning, apparently.
I'm already on my bike at 6:30. Come on, I was up at 5.
Anyway, let's not start comparing. But yeah, we would love to. But you can watch me at any time. We can watch this recording on our Facebook channels and, of course, all over YouTube and things. So you can get this at any time to watch at your comfort. So looking ahead rather than saying what happened 6 months ago, and what did you say? Maybe it's that vision thing. Where do you want it to be?
I think the whole, the whole analogy of, say, a car. So you've got your dashboard, which tells you the performance of the car. How where's your fuel, what's your revs, what's going on, how fast are you driving, how slow are you driving, and if you think about the rear view mirror is a lot smaller than the kind of windscreen. So yes, there's obviously benefit in looking at the rear view mirror, because you've got to see what's behind you and learn from it. But actually, you really need to be looking forward. And sometimes the rear view mirror doesn't show you things that you want to see, and you've sometimes got to learn from your mistakes or whatever it is. But take it in context of the size of the rear view mirror and the windscreen.
The only thing that you get from looking in the rear view mirror out the back is a sore neck. The only thing that you get from looking in the rear view mirror out the back window is a sore neck. Yeah, as you say, we need to be looking forward. I think Celia's gone rather than it's us have gone. Dave, is it?
No, Celia's still there. She's moving.
She's just blinded by my insight.
I didn't even hear it.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the thing you need to know about planning. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Justin's gone quiet. He's checking his messages.
Sorry, just yeah, sorry.
I didn't hear the insight.
Sorry, missed it. Sorry. The only thing you get looking on the rear view mirror out the back window is a pain in the neck. Let's keep looking forward, dwelling on the past, all those older things, the thing caught up and all that sort of stuff. Oh, it didn't work before. I tried that before. I tried this advertising. I tried this package with patients. It didn't work. I'm not going to do it again. Once bitten, twice shy. Let's start pushing things. You need to keep, run the business. And it's very competitive. It's going to be getting even more competitive now because, well, of all the other restrictions and things that are starting to come in again. We probably need to go back all the way to the start in March and April when we talked about what people start doing now. Are you online? Have you got an online presence? Are you contacting your mail base? Are you keeping up the thing? If you didn't have this in place in March or April and didn't implement it, that we talked about all these structures that you needed in place, now you should need those again. If we're going to go back to it. Have you started your falls and balance classes? Have you started all these other things that we talked about? We didn't say you had to do them, but these are things, again, we're going back to if things are going to start shrinking down again and patients aren't going to be able to get in to see you, you need to have all these structures in place. Yeah, it's because it's going to be challenging times. Disney have just laid off. Disney just lost 4.7 billion this quarter. 4.7 billion, never lost any money before. Don't worry, there's all these. Well, the strange thing, of course, is all these other companies' share prices are going up while their businesses are going down the toilet. So there's no reality between. But that's the other financial.
Celia's just messaged and said, "Let her back in."
Really? Where's she in? Where is she?
There you go.
Let her back in. Don't kick her out. I know. Just.
I didn't do nothing.
It's because I was about to insult Justin. I said, when I look at my rear view mirror, I don't have to turn my neck around because it's in front of me.
So what I said was, if you're looking at the rear view mirror or over your shoulder out the back window, all you get is a pain in your neck.
That reminds me of that joke about the first time I took Viagra and it got caught in my throat and I ended up with a stiff neck.
Oh, dearie me. And here we go. Five minutes left, and Dave's managed to bring the tone down.
Does it,
Well,
sorry,
or maybe the tone up.
Side note. Just on the side,
Yeah.
does anybody know what happened to Kate?
No.
Okay. Sorry.
I reckon she's caught up with getting Gabe ready for school.
Pokemon's action time. How long does it take to get kids ready for school? Come on, they're not dressed themselves yet.
So do we need to do the Kate thing and summarize?
Yes, go for it, Dave.
Okay,
You've learned
okay.
now.
Right, I'm gonna have a go at this, but it's not going to be as good as Kate. I'll tell you that one now. Okay, so planning.
We're getting students in Greece or what? I can't pronounce it.
Oh, awesome! That is fantastic. I love that. Yeah, welcome.
So hi, students in
Okay,
Greece.
so
Don't
are we
forget-
ready? Are we ready?
Drum roll.
Okay. So, planning is the last section of Celia's book, and it is probably the one which is the most exciting because you bring it all together. And you should have a plan in mind right the way through because, as Justin said, piss poor planning leads to poor performance. The great thing about planning is that you can look at what's gone before to make an assessment of that. You can look at what you want to do ahead in the future. And there's a few things which I would suggest that you have in planning. It is in your diary. It is, you don't touch that. You don't put a patient in. You don't do anything else. That planning is there on a regular basis. You make it so that you don't have a huge set of paper and a plan. It has to be down to one piece of paper because if it's too big, you won't do it. And you have to make sure that you look in the mirror if things aren't done and you look at where you could improve things, where you could change things, and actually be really, really honest with yourself and your business to make sure that that plan's going to work for you. And if something isn't working, change it so it does work for you. Is that
Wow,
right?
Dave.
Wow.
I think you're going to be, you and Kate are going to be on a challenge next.
Dave, if you put that
Have a competition about succinctly summarizing it. That was a good, less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, if you put the wig on, Dave, that would have been just like it.
The wig.
Oh dear, here we go.
No.
Dave's wig video. Oh dear,
It makes my head itch. We can't have that. So do you know what I'd really be interested in is we've got the students watching, which is great. What I'd love to know, if there's anyone watching this and they want to comment on it and tag us in it, is what do you do for planning? What is it that you use as your approach to planning? Do you have a system which works? Do you have a system which doesn't work? And what have you got in terms of planning for future plans? Can you plan for future plans? That's a bit meta, isn't it? Planning for future plans. I'm going to write a plan about planning. But I'd be really interested to know what people do because there's so many ways of doing this. And we're not suggesting for a moment that one way is the only way. It's got to serve you. It's got to work for you.
And I think if we go back, we've just come to the end of the book now, but in the very first chapter, we looked at the personal pillar. And I think that is exceptionally important. And, for students out there, really sit down and think about what you want your entire life to look like, not just what you want your career to look like. Because, 30 years down the line, if you've only focused on your career, you might be disappointed in other things. So sit back and think, what do you want to be true about everything in your life? And then you plan your business to support that.
There you go. Do I got to sum up as well? No.
Yeah, go on then, Justin.
No, I'm just going to tell everybody about my. So everybody wants to become the go-to podiatrist. This evening, we're having a 8 o'clock on my private Facebook group, Justin Blake's Fast Track Clan. You can contact me here if you'd like an invite. It's live this evening. Any students may want to be watching. That's it. If you want to become the go-to podiatrist in your area, so whether that's your area of musculoskeletal or diabetes or rehabilitation, or your area related to where you live, that's what we're going to be doing. We're running a 12-week course, which is starting next Wednesday. So time to go. And also on the same website, you can buy the limited edition mug.
Yeah, tattoos will be available by Thursday.
Worldwide.
Justin, I have a question. Yeah. What if you're a physio? If I was a physio, I wouldn't want to become the go-to podiatrist.
Well, my physio colleague Dave O'Sullivan is the go-to podiatrist. I think we talked about Dave before. England rugby ex-Munster Leeds Rhino England thing. He is the go-to physio. I'm the go-to podiatrist.
Yeah, you just said podiatrist again.
Already won.
Yeah, you see.
You won.
Yeah. Right then, I think it's time to go and check on children and do the school run. So that was brilliant. Look at that. I'm emotional. I'm emotional that we've come to the end of your book, Celia. This is where we need to see book 2.
What are you going to do next week then?
Oh, I have to write it.
Yeah, you go on, get on it now. What are you going to do? That's your job for the rest of the day. So you get writing.
Review my book.
There we go.
I better write it. It's in production. But
Celia, can I suggest that you put an hour a day, maybe between 7 and 8 each morning, and by the end of the week you'll have 5 done. You could probably put that as a plan.
Oh, maybe.
I like your reading list at the back, Celia. I mean, there's a couple of books that I have we've talked about before, the E-Myth. But this is a dummies guide. This is what everybody should do when they open a practice. Starting a business for dummies. So,
And I could update that list 8 years down the line. Oh my word, gosh, there's so many more books I would recommend in here. But maybe that's a good conversation for next time. Is come with a book recommendation and why and what's it all about. Key points. 4 books.
A business book review.
Yeah, business book club.
Ooh. And on that note, I'm going to go and check on the kids and have breakfast. So get them out the door for school. So fantastic. Thank you. Great to see everyone this morning. Missing Kate, obviously, but
it's okay. Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks very much again. Justin Blake's Fast Track Plan this evening, 8 o'clock. 12-week video course online. How to become the go-to podiatrist starts next Wednesday.
Warn that in there. He's not mentioned that at all. Actually, you should never leave that till the end, Justin. It's terrible.
I did mention at the start, and don't forget.
Did you? I missed that.
We're actually talking to somebody about boat sponsorship at the moment. Interesting. So watch this space. I think we need 40 grand.
Good.
And we're out there. So Forgotten Feet charity in the UK next May. They're cycling Land's End to John O'Groats. We're going to sail it for the ForgottenFeet.org charity. We're looking for sponsorship for a large boat to fit about 18 podiatrists on, and you can come with us as well. The skipper can come, and we're going to sail Land's End to John O'Groats up through the Irish Sea, past beautiful Carlingford here. Hopefully, it'll be a bit more sunny than it is today. And next May. So we're talking to a couple of potential sponsors. So that's interesting. So
what you're saying is that you're really advertising the fact that you could be in close proximity to you for a number of days. That's the drawing factor here, isn't it? Be close to Justin for a number of days.
People pay for that privilege. Somebody who like that bought me a lovely new orchid to replace my slightly wilted flowers. I've got to go to the neighbour. She won't.
Right. Thank you. I'm going, definitely. We'll see you later.
Cheerio, everybody.
Buy the book.
Painlesspractice.com.
Have you got nothing?
See you later.
Bye.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. That's us until I think I'm going live later. Oh, until this evening, 8 o'clock. Justin Blake's Fast Track Clan. You can find us on Facebook, and we will speak to you soon. Thank you very much. And we are finished. Uh-oh, sorry, I landed.